So how have we gone from this?
That young man. I forgive him.
Which was the 21st of September, and now 7 days later, we get this.
Nothing is changing, but I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Cringy.
We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting.
There is just something that just doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. It feels off. And I am trying so hard not to over speculate, but it's hard when stuff like this has been put out to us. It's just not normal. It doesn't feel natural. I feel like we're watching a performance. It's almost like we're watching a movie unfold right in front of our eyes. And it's things like this that make me think that Charlie Kirk's assassination is so much bigger than we could ever imagine.
Welcome back to my desk, family. I want to talk today about something that, as you can see, has been all over the headlines. And honestly, it's something that hits at the heart of what I teach and write about. I'm talking about the backlash surrounding Erika Kirk and the criticism she's received for supposedly not grieving long enough after the tragic assassination of her husband, Charlie Kirk, a few weeks ago. Now, let's be clear. Losing a spouse in such a violent public way is a pain most of us can't even imagine. But what's made this story especially difficult to watch is not just the tragedy itself, but the response from people, many whom have decided to police how she's been grieving. Some are saying she's moved on too fast or that she's not showing enough sadness. And I have to pause and say this. Since when did we start grading someone else's grief? I've spent years as a hospice chaplain sitting beside people at their rawest, most vulnerable moments. I've seen every kind of grief there is: loud grief, quiet grief, angry grief, numb grief. And one thing I can tell you with absolute certainty, grief doesn't have a timeline, and it also doesn't have a template. Some people grieve differently because they love differently. Some folks need to talk it out. Others need silence. Some return to work immediately because routine brings them comfort. Others can't even get out of bed for weeks. And you know what? All of that is valid. What Erika Kirk is doing right now, whether she's posting online, smiling in a photo, or simply trying to stand on her own 2 feet, doesn't mean she's over it. It means she's learning to breathe again in a world that took her partner away. The truth is, we don't know the private tears behind her public face. We don't see the quiet prayers, the sleepless nights, the moments when grief hits like a wave out of nowhere. So before we critique her, maybe we should try something more radical: compassion. You see, grief isn't a performance. It's a process. It's not a straight line. It loops, it bends, it circles back. One day you might feel steady and the next day completely undone. What worries me is how comfortable our culture has become with judging someone else's healing. We love to watch pain unfold, but we struggle to honor it quietly. Erika doesn't owe anyone a certain number of tears or a timeline of recovery. She's navigating her loss in her way, just as every listener here has, or one day will navigate theirs. When we impose our expectations on someone's healing, we turn grief into a competition instead of a sacred journey. Let me pause here to speak to someone listening who thinks maybe I moved on too quickly after my loss. You know what? That thought alone tells me you didn't. You didn't move on too fast. You moved forward at the pace your soul could handle. Maybe you went back to work early. Maybe you smiled again sooner than people expected. Maybe you started dating, creating, or living again, and someone made you feel guilty about it. Don't. Your healing is not disrespect. it's survival. Grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like getting dressed, showing up, and choosing life even when you're still carrying heartbreak in your chest. Here are a few thoughts that might help you if you've ever felt judged for feeling and healing too soon. Number one, acknowledge the guilt. Don't feed it. That guilt isn't truth. It's just grief wearing another mask. Redefine moving on. You're not leaving the person behind, you're just carrying them differently. Honor your process. Whether your grief lasted months, years, or moments, it's yours. Revisit the memory when you need to. Healing doesn't mean you stop remembering. And then finally, allow joy to return. Laughing isn't always betrayal. Sometimes it's a sign of resurrection. You're allowed to rebuild. You're allowed to feel peace after pain. And that doesn't mean you love a person any less. Now, circling back to Erica Kirk, if she finds laughter, let her laugh. If she posts joy, let her live. She's still grieving, even if the form of her grief doesn't match the public's experience. Guess what? It's still her experience. And to those of us that are watching from the sidelines, let's practice restraint. Let's stop confusing our curiosity for compassion. Sometimes the kindest thing you can say is nothing at all. Grief is sacred ground. You don't walk on it with judgment. You walk on it with reverence. I think that something our culture has done is it gives us this need to desperately remember. That grief is not something you watch. It's something you hold space for. Listen, if this conversation resonates with you, I want you to take a deeper journey into understanding your own grief process. In my book, Designing Your Goodbyes, I walk you through what it really means to honor loss, not just in death, but in life's transitions, endings, and changes. It's a spiritual and practical guide to reclaiming peace in the middle of pain. You can grab your copy through the link inside of the show notes or even on my website, because healing doesn't have to be rushed, hidden, or explained. It can be designed with intention and love. As I close today, I want you to remember this. There's no such thing as grieving too quickly or too slowly. There is only grieving honestly. So if you see someone like Erica navigating their pain differently, resist the urge to measure it. Instead, whisper a prayer, offer grace, send love from afar. And if you're the one walking through loss today, know that you are doing just fine, even if your grief doesn't look like everyone else's. Thank you for joining me at my desk. I'm Dr. Dandridge, and I want to remind you that grief is not a timetable. It's a testimony. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and with each other.